Any real horror stories that happened to you? I was walking in the mall with my friends and chatting happily when three armed plainclothes police rushed into my friend, pushed him to the ground, pointed their guns at his head and shouted, "Honestly, don't move." Now that I think about it, my legs still can't stop shaking. After so many years, I still wake up from the dream from time to time. It was September 2014. My friend and I went to school, City, because my friend wanted to buy things for his girlfriend, so he invited me to go with him to the shopping center. While we were walking and chatting in the shopping center, three muscular men wearing jackets suddenly from the side rushed out and rushed at my friend. One person grabbed his hand, the other held his head, causing my friend to immediately panic and kneel. Ground. Another person pulled out a pistol, pointed it at his friend's head and said, "Honestly, don't move. We are the police." I couldn't help but tremble. What's going on? Use guns to arrest people. My friend is a murderer and his mind is full of messy thoughts. The man claiming to be a police officer pulled my friend up from the ground and asked, "What is your name?" My friend said his name in a strange way. Honestly, one of the three people shouted, "They have all been arrested and are still not honest enough to say their real names." The friend's face was full of horror and resentment, he said. "I was called by that name. This name since I was a child and I have no other name." I also spoke from the side. He said his real name, not a fake one. The three of them looked at us, stopped asking questions and said that you should go to the police department together. When we arrived at the police station, we learned that they had come from the suburbs to arrest a rapist and murderer. The local police quickly identified them. I and my friend, three plainclothes policemen from out of town, were a bit embarrassed and apologized to my friend. Maybe they were afraid my friend wouldn't believe them, so they took out a photo of the suspect. They indeed looked like my friend, very similar in appearance and height. No wonder they got the wrong person. We promised not to say nonsense when we went out and they kicked us out very politely. Because I promised them not to talk nonsense, I omitted some details in many places, but this is definitely my personal experience. On the way home, I joked with my friends, "Is the suspect, is that your brother? Go back and ask your parents if any of your brothers were given away or adopted by them." The friend seemed shocked and said, "If their gun had just exploded, would it have been an injustice for me to die?" After hearing my friend's words, I almost broke out in a cold sweat. Let me tell you a real experience around me. What happened to my friend's father was that his father was working in a residential property management company as a regular employee. At that time, the community had no place to live, so his father was arranged to live in the basement. When his father moved in, it seemed normal. But one night, his father was looking at his cell phone, in bed, in the basement. Suddenly, I heard a little girl's voice, constantly calling his name, laughing and joking. It was more than 1 o'clock. This scared his father. He cursed and broke things, but the little girl kept calling his father's name. According to his father, the light in the room suddenly flashed, and his father turned around. Looking, facing the glass, you can see something very large, face glued to the glass. According to his father, there was a strange smile on that face. 2 mouths were moving, calling his name. His father screamed, grabbed the thermos cup and broke it. After when he got home, he was sick and didn't feel well. My friend's family was very superstitious, so they went to look for a fairy in the village. What did the fairy say? The person who called his name was a little girl who fell into the water and came to burn incense for him. Hearing that, I thought, isn't this just a liar? So I went there. When I got to his house, I knew his father quite well, so at first I didn't dare to ask. Dad's face at that time was not pale but dark, looking very understanding, so I asked, "Uncle, are you sure you see a big face pressed against the glass?" Even though his father didn't look very well at that time, he told me frankly, "Guys, it's not that I'm she-dad." He was so eloquent and spoke so vividly that I felt chills listening. His father is I mean. I don't know if you've seen Attack on Titan. The huge face, stuck on the glass, looks a lot like the giant in Attack on Titan, who only knows how to crawl and his face is worn out. At that time, after listening, I felt a chill in my head. Then I thought about it and left. The next night, I went to his father's basement. That basement is very strange. Isn't the normal basement located on the same level as the parking lot? The basement in that residential area is on a separate floor. You cannot go down this way. Elevator. So you have to go from the first floor. Go down through a small door, and in this basement there are many messy rooms, very large and strangely structured. I went in to explore for a while and then heard ticking sound. At that moment I imagined a corpse hanging upside down in some room, blood flowing from the neck. At that moment my scalp was numb. Finally I walked towards it, a black cement house. When I opened the door I saw water inside about 3.5 centimeter high. There were water pipes in the house and there was a leak in the house. At that time I also recorded a video to record some of the objects below. The basement, a thorough search did not reveal anything in there. But that basement was really strange. When I entered I felt chills all over my body and the back of my neck was numb. My friend's father lives in the basement. Hey, he's really brave. After that, my friend's family went to look for a great fairy in the village. What did that great fairy say? The girl he called in the middle of the night was a drowned girl, meaning he wanted some incense from him. He broke the barrier and jumped after the great master. Resolved. Afterwards, my brother's father recovered from his illness, but as far as I could see, that had nothing to do with that great immortal. Later, I went to see a fortune teller in the countryside here. This fortune teller says he is a fortune teller, but actually he is just a psychologist, a thief who knows how to seduce people. If you come across it, he will make you happy. The hair all over my body will shine when I lick you. What I thought at that time was that my friend's father was timid and easily scared. I was going to take a machete and give it to his father. Later I left. I found this fortune teller. This fortune teller was nearly 60 years old. I had to call him third brother. When I got there, I asked, "Third brother, you are always scared to say that he is my friend. Dad is like that, so I'll send him. I will give you a machete when you come to my shop. Do you think that's okay?" The fortune teller said it's not a good idea to give knives. Machetes are more or less sharpened. He asked me again if I had any swords. I thought about it and realized I had a few at home. Sword. After that, I found a blacksmith and made a large sword about 1.8 meters long, put it on the bed for a while, and then gave it to his family. But with that said, that basement is really very spooky, makes people feel very uncomfortable.